Okay, I built this 50 pip grid system. I'm using this indicator that's free. So I downloaded it. I'm going to put the link to the indicator here, and I just changed the color to black inside there. And I'm also using this one that I had on here last year that I got off that when you're inside the MetaTrader, you can go to indicators, and they got rid of the free market thing. I don't know, I had to go to, ended up, this is how I had to get back. I'm actually running this, but I had to go to the, just search the internet for this name, and it came up. So the link to this one, and this is free, and it's kind of cute because it, what it does is it just doesn't when you go into if you go anything past 4 hours, it just takes out the day. So I put it on. I had to trim a bunch of stuff out of this demo account because I had too many currencies running, and I got overfilled on a New Zealand to the pound of New Zealand. So the British pound is going through the floor right now, and so the cool thing about this is I'm looking at now, I can just track these 8 on top. I got 3 on the bottom, 11 pairs. I have this problem with everything being perfectly aligned, so I like the grid system and the tiles to be all balanced out. Problem with Forex is that there's only 7 major pairs, so you had to throw Euro Yen in there. So that's how I destroyed my account on Euro Yen, because I wanted to get 8 panels running. That was my goal of symmetry. I want to grow with 2 eyeballs. So it's just, and then I really wanted to show people that if you have a 50 pip grid, and what the order would look like on this. So this is kind of nice. The candle here is running. Looks like, you can see the box is the whole day too, which is really nice. So you already have it painting your rectangle for you. What's happened before, in my opinion, doesn't mean anything. So I'm running cells now. I have to make sure that I size my scripts to the grid though. Now this is where things could get out of control. So if you look at the British pound here, and all these scales are fixed here, so really when I put the template in there, if you let the knowing that when you at a glance you can just tell, oh, this is going through the floor. This is going through the floor really hard here. You'd have to use a way wider ATR. You can just see the ATR on this grid, which is beautiful because you can just see. Now I did make the closing price on here. I should probably make it blue because I'm already seeing a problem here. So when you build a template, and I made this so it's completely objective. All the colors are gray. There is no up or down. You can make this a blue candle. You can make it a doji turn color. So you see all the edits in here. So it's a pretty decent indicator for free. I mean, you can't beat the price. So it's the daily info bar. Now you can make all these colors. I just made this completely a objective view. And I don't know what marking lines are. Maybe that is my price. I don't know. Let me see. Put the gray too. I guess not. So let me just change the ask on here to blue, and then be able to just little things like this. I guess to make it really, if you're going to print this out, you definitely want to go with black and white. Ink's pretty expensive, even if it's even if you made your own at home, I think. So I'll make the ask line blue, and I'll make the line graph is none, and the grid is supposed to be a color too. I think the grid is you have to make this blue to get the bid and ask to be blue. So one of those is the ask one's a bit, and then well, that's what makes it the spread there. But I guess I'm stuck with a black line and close there. At least I can see the ask, so I can separate that from. And So if the 1 hour chart, once you go past 4 hours, it drops out that indicator. So if you have everything set to 1 hour, you can just see, looking at your screen without having to get a migraine. Now, the more you zoom out, now as time goes on, well, that day's over. So we're breaking out here. Your breakout system would have went long there. You had a nice place to get in on a top bottom here. I mean, obviously it's going up. You draw your trend line here. You get perfect setups here. I mean, they don't get any better than a double top with a bottom at the trend line. A little bit of kickback, but this is why you're going to have these buy limits in here. You should have enough time to put in the buy limit here, because after this big rally, you don't want to chase it, and then you put a buy limit on this top too. So you would have got filled there today. The breakout traders, they got in here and they took a little heat. They're gonna be right. They're right. See how they're right. See how they made money. But the problem is that when you get filled on that order, if your stop is like, well, I'm going to trade the breakout and it's just going to go up, then, sure, if you had a stop back here, you're like, oh yeah, overpaid. But if you just trade 20% of not your account, but 20% of this one currency pair for one day, then you're going to just get slightly filled on buy stops and get your ass kicked. Maybe this is a trend trade. Maybe you never got filled on these buy limits that you had sitting here. You're hoping for another smackdown. They only came back to this one. They came back to that one, and this is one day from here to here, so you can just go day by day. Do you think this week we could come down in here? Well, fuck yeah. So you put buy limits here at the 50. Now this is the 50. This is also the round number. But you can just see here plainly. And you see the 50 tags. So if you're going to run a script with a 12 pip stop, you can ride the 50 train and make 25, 50, what have you. But it's obvious here where your buy limits need to be for at least the exit to here. Now, if you're going to place them, if you're going to put a standard lot here, once you drop say you built a script like that, you can grab the stop and the take profit and resize that. Of course, if the script is written into your system saying X, then if you stay to that, now that's where the difference between supposedly a disciplined trader and somebody that's just putting in, besides, if you get out early, that's going to skew the whole thing. But you kind of have a gut feeling about these things that, if they take out the high of this day, maybe we're going up. Like I said, not to say you're not going to get trapped and crushed on that. But here's another breakout. This pullback actually almost gets back here. Now, at this late in the day, you're really locking up a lot of margin for this, and this is a perfect price pulse. I agree that's your classic situation. Now, they're probably trapping people here right now. That right here, right? Sell limits are going to come in here, so I'll put my sell limits there. Maybe it does come back to here. Maybe people do buy it. And fair value has got to be considered the middle of, for right now, well, this is already done. That day's done. And look how fair value is dead on in the middle of the day here. And it's just one of these days, where, and I don't want to give any, it's obvious it's up, so I'm not going to worry about this being a red candle, a blue candle. That's just going to blow my mind. I can't think about it. It's like my brain's already working. And all the stops, all these wicks, can you imagine the amount of orders sitting here to get triggered to go long? And people that are selling, and this is their protection, they're like, well, I'm just going to sell here, and where are they going to put their stop? Oldest question in the world, where is your stop? So it's really one of these brutal games of who's screwing who. So if you go to the daily, the nice thing is this candle drops off and you're just left with, now perspective wise, isn't it amazing that you can make all this money off this 50? And look how they tagged that on the daily. So you see the daily world, for scalping. Now this is not the, right here is not the 100 pip entry. If you fix the scale and you scrunch in on this, dial down on this, look at this entry here. You rolled that for, if all you did was buy at that 50-yard line with a stop here, a 25 pip stop, based upon this doji looking forward at the 50, I think you probably at least made it to here before they smashed that. So if you played the same hand, I don't know if anybody plays a gambling, but this is gambling. And once again, the 50 is more important on this currency pair than the 100 because this currency pair doesn't maybe trade as volatilely as... now, you might have to go to a 200 pip grid on the guppy, and if you put a 200 pip grid on it, you'd notice that that thing ricochets off the 200 pip better than any Fibonacci number. And I haven't done it, but I'm going to take a look at it because it's just painfully obvious that when the ATR goes to 1,000 pips, people are trading on the 500 handles. They're trading on the 1,000 handles. Now you can set this indicator, this grid thing, to anything you want. How much money you got? Right? It's the old thing like what they say about car racing. How fast do you want to go? How much money you got? But yeah, that's it's the only way I can see it doing it. So we go to my indicator list. Just because you build the whole thing from there. So this grid, if you edit it, this is free. You got your inputs. You got grid space. I have it 500, which is actually 50 pips because it's a 5 decimal broker. Now you can set that thing to whatever. And you would say, wow, look at that. Look at that thing hit on there. But you're picking the risk up front, so it's like, I'm going to try to put that. I mean, I know people you need to know where to start. If you were going to build a grid system, you have to pick, and you want it to get stopped. Of course, if you're just buying limits like that, you want to get stopped out. Right, you want to get stopped out here at this thing and have no more grids till the next 50-yard line. So you have these pack of, if you imagine a football game where you're allowed to put as many guys on the team as you want. It's not 11 or whatever, 7. I don't know what football is. How many people are allowed to? So the line of scrimmage is your limits, and then if every order you place in there, but it's like dominoes. And how's this thing going to turn around? What's it going to look like? Now, the phase you're in right now, you can see how ridiculous some of these trend lines they wouldn't do you any good if you were on, say, the 1-minute chart right now. So looking at this, it's going up, right? They're going up on this dollar. I mean, go to the weekly. Oh my God, if they take these wicks out. So where's in the 50 pip grid on the weekly, you could scalp this on the 50 pip grid on the weekly. How's that? Well, if you look at this support here, and it closed right at the 50. I mean, right at the round number here, it closed, sorry, on the weekly. But the 50 is the round number. Like once you go to the 25 handle, you're just going to trade. You don't even think about 100 pips. You think about 25 pips. Now if you made this a scalper's grid, it would be like, imagine this is you're scalping. I mean, this is what the day looks like. I think it's hard for people to believe that when you zoom out like this, when people zoom out on their charts, well, look at the monthly. Okay, but I can only live for a day. Tomorrow I might blow my brains out. I'm so pissed off. So, what the fuck? I'm only buying food I'm not buying a bunch of food. Like people are stock up. I'm like, dude, I think I might just bail tomorrow. So why would I stock up? You fucking out of your mind. Look at this. This is pound Australia. Look at this 25 pip wick here. Look at this punishment. Look at that puppy. Now, Day's almost, the day should be over. I don't know when this, now you can see this broker doesn't update till their day is still going. So this indicator on another broker is completely different. But here's your top bottom at the 25-yard line. This shouldn't be too hard. If you had a 25 pip grid, you would just be placing orders at the 25-yard line. And you'd know your risk going in. And you're like, I don't care what happens. And not to mention, if you go to the 1 hour stop bot, if you're running that, you know, you 1 hour chart, you go, all right, well, just give me the last, now the whole day's, I'm not going to say up or down, I just say, look at this as the range of the day, because the up or down stuff is meaningless, just meaningless. You can see by the line it went down, Jesus Christ. I mean, you really need somebody to go red and blue on you. I just get that red and blue thing, just cracks me up. I'm like, okay, I got it, but volatility is so, it's 50% of the game is volatility. So if my stop bot is sitting here right now going, well, I'm just going to keep, there's no stops on this demo. I'm actually long on limits already. So I get crushed already, so I'm down $140. But this thing loaded into that New Zealand. I'm let it go. Here, buy stops are sitting here by your fucking stupid stop bot. I mean, why wouldn't you trade like that? I don't care if it's down today. Like, your stop bot, maybe these orders are still pending. And maybe your sell stop bot is just laughing all the way to the bank on this, but this presupposes you put your exits 50 pips apart on that today. But you should know that the volatility is drying up here. We could be trapping. This could be the shoulder. This is going to be a head. Maybe there's a shoulder coming up. Maybe you just want to make pips to here and get the fuck out. Go get raped. Maybe this bottom that became a top was your trade. You're like, yep, that was we dojied out there. I scalped that. And then look at another failed rally into the previous. And I made that money. Or maybe you had limits down here and you took it back the other way. But this volatility, look at this baby candle. Your stop bot, your hedge bot made money there. So where did your hedge bot make money today? It shouldn't be too hard to do a little bit of so where were you last night? How much did you drink? Oh, you deleted all your yoga emails? That's crazy. So stop your hedge bot here. Asian session, what a surprise, huh? They trap, but 50 pips. Pound Australia's out of control. People talk about this. I don't know how people are psychologically adapting. Every time he throws out, I'll go back 3 years. I started trading euro. I was trading about a few pairs, but when I saw the spread, I walked away. I said, you know what, this is like a bar. I don't know anybody going, like everybody drive by a bar and they go, I'm not going in there. Like, they have a bar down here with a bunch of bikes and front motorcycles. I'm like, I don't think I'm going in there. And they were going there and get these guys to trade Forex. But so I'm looking at this stuff, and I'm like, why not just trade volatility breakouts? So obviously we're going to go long here. Well, we're already stuck long, but just on the damn grid. The ATR here is nuts. And this is how you can tell you. So how do people able to adapt? How can people walk into these other currency pairs? When I went to the when I saw the spread, it was like a biker bar. I said, I'm not going to trade that currency. Besides, I want to trade in Asia. I want to trade when the market's quiet. I want to trade when it's loud. So I'm up for both. I'll just put earplugs in, if it gets too loud. But this is what I figure, 4 hours is the max on this indicator, and then it drops. You lose it. It drops out. But what you can say about this candle is very little wick. Instead of thinking in terms of, and this is my anti-racist platform too. I just got another fight with another liberal today, and I thought, wow, these people are the most biased, bigoted people racist people I've ever met. So I'm down in the city today, and I put on the radio, and the guy on the radio says, black people cannot be racist. He's a black guy on the radio. He says, can't be racist. He goes, it's because they can be bigots, but they can't be racist. So I'm like, okay, I got it. I mean, so if you're dealing with that, right, you have a problem. So the is this a trap here in New Zealand? But this is a non-biased, non-racist thing here. It's just about volatility. So who's right or wrong doesn't matter. This up down, it's bullish, it's bearish. I don't care. I don't know if you care about that. Then you get to defend your position. So I was just watching one of these another empowered trading videos, and they said, well, and he started to zoom out the chart, and he goes, well, if you look back here, you get more confirmation. I thought, well, maybe you're rationalizing it. You're rationalizing the position. So I don't think you can get around the volatility issues. As much as you want to have a channel and system and all this, there's things that call for entering on a scheme of an element that is without direction. It's just a condition. It's like a weather condition. So it's just calm out. Now, where something goes after it pauses should be of no consequence, because you're making money from the increase in volatility. So if you bought an option, now the option traders, that's how they make money. If you buy a call when the market's pulled back and it's quiet, you're going to get the cheapest premium when the volatility is low. So it's just too one-dimensional to look at just these prices. And of course, putting an ATR in there to pick your stop is what people do. Well, this is what you would think you would want to do. So if you drive down a road in your car and you go into a different city where the roads are all windy and they're all mountainous, and that's what it reminds me of, like trading these wild 100 pip swings. So if you're used to having your life a 20 pip stop with X amount of money, I don't know how you jump around these pairs. And you'd have to change the sizing, wouldn't you? Unless you're so good at trading, you can say, well, I'm on this, I always scalp the guppy. Maybe that's how people are doing it. But I always wonder how people are getting by with the so-called systems out there. So I'm running this on, here I'll be buying at this double bottom here, but just on the breakout I'd already be long, so I would be long on stops here. Now this is just a classic retracement after the last session here, so we're coming at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here. Yeah, it's going to be, there's a whole thing, and there's a whole kind of way it trades up in here. It may drift up into the London session, and then it may slam around. So this drifting style, I mean, these really low risk entries, because the market's quiet. I mean, low risk from the standpoint, like I said, if you're used to a certain stop range and a certain sizing, you're just going to go from a biker bar to a black tie dinner. I mean, it's kind of harsh. Maybe you should stop off at another bar, get yourself ready, go home, change. So I don't know how people are doing that. And I feel bad because when they throw stuff out on these empowered trades, now we're going to look at this pair, now we're going to look at that pair. They never say, by the way, just as we step into this other pair, be aware you're stepping into a biker bar and you've got, or you're in a, an all black bar and you're yelling the inappropriate words or something, or you're trying to get a cake made that says eat shit and die. So, I mean, that context right there is enough to rattle in the spread. When you walk into the Asian session, you see the spreads are terrible. That should tell you something right there, illiquidity. So I get the fact that there's really hot chicks down at the end of in the biker bar, but let's face it, the spread's too wide, right? Unless you're going to go home and get some nunchucks and come back, you're kind of going to be a little bit, you're going to play defense. What they say, you always have to play defense when you're trading the market because you don't have enough money to push the market with your orders. Even the biggest traders, that's just not. Even if you did, there's always going to be. You're going to push it into a range where the other people are going to come in anyways. So it's kind of like a mosh pit, right? I mean, it's very much this giant thing. And so you just have to realize that you don't want to get trampled by the mosh pit. If you're, but you can see the wave coming, right? It builds up, and then there's a lull, and then you have a doji, and then we continue with the riot going the other way. So there's no difference in. It's been called ebb and flow for a long time, and that's why they call it Elliott wave, not Elliott zigzag. Well, I guess it's really Elliott zigzag at the end. So here's these two things, and I put them on the bottom here. But it shouldn't be too hard to figure out. You can already size up in your mind when you look back here, just yesterday or just Friday, on the British pound, all the pretty bozo redneck trades. You're buying new lows here at the 50-yard line with a stop here to scalp to here, and the wicks just keep on wicking into this thing. So you just keep dropping the same order over and over again because this is the feeding line. And there's a 50 pip winner all day long with almost the same script. You would just keep having to replace that. Because once that order's been executed, you have to start over. And this is why the day traders would make money in this situation. But if you have a day job, maybe you put your buy stop here on the 4 hour, you got picked up and they trapped you. And that's going to be. And so they say day trading's a really hard way to make money because you have to keep fucking getting back in. Otherwise, you can't milk that. You can't milk that range. And so that is definitely what makes it unavailable for people. Maybe you were trading this breakout of the 4 hours, so maybe you had trailing sell stops here at the same time, and after they clobbered your ass on this fake out, you hung in it long enough to make money down to 100 pips, and now you're getting in on your grid, say. But you cannot ignore this volatility. It's the easiest money in the world. I think the ego wants to get out of Gartley and go, look at where how do you like my call? We made a good call. Look at that. That's not how people are cleaning. I mean, that's not how you should. Like, you shouldn't get what you think is really cool and then put it in your store and be like, see, I sold that thing finally. It's really not a good business practice. So I was at a coffee shop today where the rich people live, and people are so rich. People are so fucking polite. And then when I had to wait for my coffee, the lady said to me, they shouldn't have charged you for that. I thought, damn, I love you rich people. I love you people that just, they're like, you know what? If you go down and to some stuff, people all like, oh, we can't give you, try that with a cable company. Look at this puppy fall. So the British pound's getting its ass clobbered. I would be buying in stops here, but I'm already in, I think. I'm already down $200. So I can see right here on this nice, I can see the 230 pips range too, spelled out for you. I don't know if you can change the font on it. I'm not crazy about the font. Anyways, that's my view of the two indicator toys that allow you to imagine all the trades you missed at the 50-yard line. I set it to the 50, but look at this. Bottom becomes the top at the 50. Go figure. 50 pip grid trading all day long, and the big kahuna smash So stupid. Trading is just so dumb. Look at this. It's for dumb people. Okay, I'm going to sell into that. Now these only last a little bit of time. They're going up. There you go. So it's like this accumulation, and then we mark it up, cut through all that stuff. Good luck selling into that. I'm selling to that on time, and then I would put in my other orders there on the top of that. This is going down, so I'll buy it. Looks like we're going to break out this, maybe break out low of the day, so that's going to sit there all night and bake. There you go, down 270, and we've got 10 minutes till the news comes out, so there's going to be a real reckoning. This is totally getting smashed. This is about to break out pretty hard here. Euro yen. I do think the yen's going through the roof. Yen's in fair value on the monthly. I mean, the yen's going to go down. Everything's going to go up against the yen now. It's going to be pretty brutal. Giant triangle here. Giant trend line to break on the weekly. Good Lord, look at this channel. Oof. A perfect channel. You know, they use the cloud over there. Come on. That's 50 pip grid. So you got to adjust all your ATRs to this. Oh man. Here you go. Look at this puppy. The weekly 50 pip grid. That's a lot of pips. Daily. Look at that puppy. Man, they're gonna clean up to here. So they're gonna go after these prices up here. That's a beautiful pivot on the daily. I think get it more simple than that. Right at the 25-yard line. You make 75 pips just by placing a sell limit up the treetops here. The 50 pips stop. To make how many pips again? Now you're going to buy here. So it's a back and forth. I sell here now. Sell, sell, sell. So I'm selling up there. I don't know. It just seems like a no-brainer, dude. Maybe I'm just too dumb for this.